Okay, so despite what people say about the tech layoffs not reflecting the overall job market, reminder that the pain is real for the 100,000 plus people who've gotten laid off from corporations big and small. There's Microsoft, Salesforce, Twitter, Meta, who's going through their second alleged set of layoffs within 6 months of each other. I mean, that's yikes. Remember, y'all, these are real people with real families and who obviously have some sort of skills, some sort of training, some type of experience for their line of work. And even with all of that accumulated into a single person, all that experience, all the certifications, all the niche industries that you may have some sort of experience in, considering that companies decide at the drop of a hat what they specifically think is best for their company, there's no way to become 100% immune to any job loss or layoffs in any industry. But if you are currently or ever in a position where you are suddenly and unexpectedly laid off, here are a few things that I'm hoping that you will take into account and keep in mind as you transition into those next steps for yourself. First off, I want you to know that it is okay to feel your feelings, to mourn, feel emotional, feel sad, feel angry, feel resentful, anxious, or even relief, maybe excitement or happiness about what's happened. These are, of course, all feelings that come a part of the grieving or relief process of losing a job, especially since, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, we spend an average of 1/3 or about 90,000 hours just at work, just doing some type of work for a 9 to 5. I mean, that's insane. The disruptions that you have in your day-to-day life, the people that you definitely won't see again, the routines that you've had, and the different structures and balance of time that you may be missing from life right now. Like, that is all very unexpected, on top of not having any more of that income from your 9 to 5. So if possible, it's always best to seek some type of professional guidance on how you will be moving forward and processing those feelings. And I hope that this can be a time where you're able to lean into your community, lean into those activities and hobbies that you really enjoy doing to give yourself better mental health and space for you to process. Second, I want you to make sure that you review your finances. With your sudden absence of income, it's going to be good to take a better look at what may be advantageous to you to stretch your savings or even your severance package that you may receive from your company. Now, I won't say personally what you should and should not cut back on, considering that my life is going to be different than yours. My priorities are going to be different than yours. But I will say that this might be a good time to look at the important finances that are going to help you survive, shelter being one of them, utilities, as well as food, and see how you'll be able to keep up with those essentials as you stretch out your finances for an unknown amount of time until you figure out what the next steps are. Third, your transferable skills are some of the most powerful assets in your tool belt right now. So please make sure that you have some type of record of what your daily tasks were while you were employed, making sure that you have some type of list of your accomplishments that you were able to attain at work, as well as any type of projects within reason that you were able to accomplish there too. Add all that stuff to your resume if you have not already. This is the time to brag about yourself to these employers. Okay, moving on. Do not go looking into entrepreneurship like any of these gurus are telling you to without a basic plan, some sort of business outline, and some sort of runway and research so that you know that you'll be able to succeed. Because these gurus, these business people out here are not going to tell you about their failures as entrepreneurs. Like, that is not how that cookie crumbles. That is not what they want you to see. And a lot of businesses fail on their first try as entrepreneurs. Like, it is very hard to get all of that stuff off the ground, especially when you don't have a business plan, especially when you don't have clients or market research that you have done to help you succeed. So Don't give up on that 9 to 5 and just say, screw it, I'm just gonna venture out on my own without some sort of plan and research that you have done effectively, so you guaranteed will know exactly what you're going to be going into. Networking is the next thing that I think you should try and do while you have this time to process. Reaching out to your peers in the community. As you're looking out for opportunities, that's always going to be one of your first lines of defense. It's about who you know, it's not about necessarily what you know. And I would go even a little bit farther and say that if you are trying to make sure that you are upping your skills, making sure that you refine your resume a little bit more, making sure that you learn in public in some sort of way, trying to share your findings about your research, about how you're upping your skills and things, that will get people to notice your work ethic, and that will help people build that community around you to ask those questions, have these other people that are learning just as much as you are kind of come together to give you a stronger sense of community and connections as you're going forward. I'm just saying, I got a job from learning in public on Twitter. Like, that is a thing. It has happened. I know plenty of other people that this has happened to. It's a really great community. So it could be on social media, it could be on Twitter, it could be on LinkedIn. Just as long as you're recording your findings somewhere where it's public and people can actually see it, and you're being vulnerable and sharing what you've learned, like, that's a great start. And if I can do it with me not really knowing how to utilize being quippy and funny on Twitter, you can do. The last thing that I want you to do is to survive first. Then that's when you can start figuring out how to get into a better space to thrive. Please know that these companies will make sure that they look out for their bottom line. So why wouldn't you try and do the same for yourself, for your community, for your family? Something that I really wish that I would have done and really processed while I was first transitioning into tech, and even during the time that I was laid off, was that there isn't any failure in finding a temporary piece of work, doing any freelance work if I could, just finding something that is part-time that will supplement at least a little bit of income for my household, just to make sure that I'm able to have ends meet. That doesn't necessarily make you a failure, or that you can't go back into the industry in which you have a lot of experience in. It just means that this is helping you feed your family, helping you take care of your living expenses, and making sure that you are safe, that you are in a space where you are able to survive in the circumstances that you have, and that gives you time and energy to figure out what are your next steps for tomorrow. You are doing the work to stay afloat. You are giving yourself that runway to give yourself more time to look for those opportunities for yourself. So I'm really hoping that you don't feel any shame or guilt for having to do that for yourself. Layoffs might not be anything new, and it seems more and more common nowadays, but you are not a failure because this happened to you. I am so sorry that you have been caught up in this circumstance, and I hope that you have a loving community that is going to give you kindness, give you security, and put your name in rooms that you had never imagined that you would be heard or recognized in. This is your time to figure out what the next steps are, and it can be scary and really exciting, and I think that it's gonna work out for you. So do your best, make sure that you survive, and make sure that you are mentally taking care of yourself as well as your loved ones. So from there, if you're still trying to figure out what else is next, I would suggest, because I have made a video on it before, how to best refine your resume. So I will link that above me. And yeah, that's all I got for you. I will see you next week.